Okay, my name is Morris Jackson, and I'm a graduate from Wacoochee. Matter of fact, the year of 1966. I began Wacoochee in 1956 in the third grade. I graduated in 1966 from Wacoochee. Since leaving Wacoochee, I spent some time in the military. I'm a Vietnam veteran. And after then, married my childhood sweetheart, I guess you want to call it, in 1969. But however, after then, eventually with 42 years and a half with Georgia Power and retired, and now I serve as the mayor pro tem of Smith Station, Alabama, one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Alabama, really. And it's just been an interesting year. What Wacoochee meant to me, it meant to get me where I'm at today. And I credit Wacoochee for all of this right here. Even though we wasn't the best school, but it was a school that demanded respect. And I patterned my life after the principal of Wacoochee, E.L. Debro. And most of us remember him when he said, "Move," you didn't ask any question. So that's basically just a short summary of myself at Wacoochee and what it meant to me today.
Hi, my name is Willie Ann Rudd Jenkins. I'm in the class of 1970, which was the last graduating class. And some of my fond memory was I was spoiled by a lot of my teachers. I also was spoiled by Angela Debro Daddy, Mr. Debro. He would give me anything I wanted or needed, and so I enjoyed school growing up.
Hello, my name is Verlinda Gentry. I graduated from Smith Station High School, but I attended Wacoochee from the 1st through the 9th grade. And what Wacoochee means to me, it gave me a sense of pride, a sense of belonging, and a sense of wanting to succeed. I enjoyed the history of Wacoochee, and I love the people that were there. I had wonderful teachers. Actually, I started attending school before I was old enough with my older siblings. I attended Dorsey in Salem, Alabama with my 1st grade teacher, Sister Odell Tumlin, and she made sure I was in that 1st grade with her. And I'm a retired educator, and I love Wacoochee.
My name is Bobby Sanks. I'm a resident of Salem, Alabama, born and raised there all my life. I attended Wacoochee High School. I graduated from Wacoochee High School. And Wacoochee to me was a self of pride. You never realize what it meant to have so many black people in one place. And you know, to be standing out as a resident of Salem, I acknowledge that very well, and I never let one forget where I came from. And also, I have a daughter who teaches at Wacoochee as well. And so, Wacoochee mean to me is just it was just amazing. People ask where you from? I'm from Salem, and the thing is with a resident of Salem, we had to walk to school every day, with about 1.5 miles every day. So we were proud to be at school, because we know it was warm in that school as well. So, but we enjoyed it very much. And I missed everyone that attended that school that I knew of. And we had some great athletes at Wacoochee as well.
My name is Cynthia Coco Moffitt. I began at Wacoochee in the year of 1963. I graduated in 1969. To me, Wacoochee was a great school. When I first started there, we had a long ride. I thought I'd get a chance to get me a nap on the bus, but as we moved on, we got there so quick, so I didn't have a chance because I lived in Smith Station. So with Smith Station High School not being integrated at that time, I had to go to Wacoochee School, and I enjoyed every moment of going to Wacoochee High School, and we just had a great principal. And from Wacoochee, I attained great interest in the black people because we was all black going there, so it was just amazing. And it changed my life to make me want to do better in life because that was all that was there, and we just enjoyed each other like we were sisters and brothers the whole 6 years that I was there.
Hello, I'm Rosie Johnson Gary. I started Wacoochee in 7th grade, 7th through 12th grade, and I felt like Wacoochee was where I needed to be or was supposed to be. I didn't think I was not supposed to be there, and I enjoyed every minute of it, meeting friends. The people you met in 7th grade, we're still friends now. It was like for life, because we were all just that close. And I think Wacoochee taught us how to be successful, because we have so many graduates in Wacoochee that's all over the world doing all kinds of professional jobs. And I appreciate that, and I'm proud of that.
Hello, everyone. I am Gloria Jean Sanks Owens, better known as Tina. If you come to Salem and ask for Gloria, they don't know who you're talking about, but if you ask for Tina Sanks, they can direct you right there back in the day. I spent all 12 years at Wacoochee and walking along with my brother and other family members and community members, because we was within that 2-mile radius where you had to walk. We rode the bus if it was raining too hard. Cold weather didn't stop the walking. I really enjoyed those 12 years. However, my first grade year, I went in as a left-handed person, but my teacher insisted I write right-handed. So that large number 2 pencil wore my knuckles out every time she caught me writing with my left hand. So today I even write with my right hand, but everything else is left hand. People would tell me, "You're left-handed." I said, "Well, how did you know?" They said, "Because you do everything opposite, like foul backwards." But Wacoochee was a great, friendly place where you got to know your classmates as friends, because in the community sometimes you was not in a congested area, but it was important every day, and we had time to laugh, to smile. But
ready? Well, my name is John B. Johnson, better known as Ben to my classmates and everybody. I really did enjoy Wacoochee School. I loved being a part of it because it was a part of us. We all enjoyed. We had not very much activity to look forward to, but those we did, we looked forward to it highly. And one was basketball. We loved our basketball team. And most of the time that I was there, I can never remember we having a losing season. We always had a great basketball team because that was basically the only sports that we had. But I am so glad that I got a chance. We know everybody that ever went to Wacoochee, all the way from the elementary on up to the 12th grade. And we are still close. We are the last class that graduated from Wacoochee High School. We were the largest class in 1970. But you know, I am glad in a way for the integration, because they gave it so many more opportunities for the students. If you could not play basketball, then you was out of a scholarship. But going on, you had a chance to go to play football at other schools. You got a chance to get a scholarship in basketball. They had science class, and as my classmate was talking just a minute ago, taking shorthand. We didn't even have shorthand until the last year that we was graduating. We didn't even have typewriters until the last year. I remember we only had 2 electrical typewriters. The rest of them was manual. But my fond memories of Smith Station is simple things like PE, going playing outside. That's what we had to do. Intramural basketball, and most of us don't know what intramural basketball is, but we used to get together and play against each other in sections. 8th against the other section, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade on up. And that was our activity. We really enjoyed it. And like I said, we was family at Wacoochee High School, and I love it today.
Good afternoon, my name is Marvin Davis, class of 1970, best class of Wacoochee High School.
Yes.
Wacoochee was only a high school for 12 years. My sister was in the first grade, and I was in the last 12th grade. Great times at Wacoochee. I'm proud to admit now, even though I don't look like it, probably don't act like it, been preaching for 39 and a half years. Probably the most unlikely person to come out and be a preacher. But it proves to me that God can do anything. Amen. But we are so happy. At Wacoochee, I did just about everything, including being bad. I was fortunate enough to earn my living as a kid being a janitor at Wacoochee. And don't think for a minute that I liked it. But it taught me how to work. After leaving Wacoochee, I stayed in Philadelphia for 3 years, came back home, left the Wacoochee Indian area in Salem, Alabama, moved to Lochapoka, where Lochapoka was just becoming a high school. And believe it or not, Wacoochee Indians, I left there and became a Lochapoka Indian. Upon all of that, I only had one principal from 1st through 12th grade. That was Everett Deborah. I went to Lochapoka in '73, and he came at the end of '74. I am proud to say that Mr. Deborah was my principal, the closest thing I ever had to a dad. And when he retired from Lochapoka, he left me there, and I'm still presently employed by the Lee County Board of Education. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rosie Gentry McCoy. I'm a 1969 graduate of Wacoochee High School. I integrated into Wacoochee High School in the fall of 1963. Wacoochee to me was, I went to a one-room school. I want you to know it was the first thing in my life. A one-room school, one teacher. We should have integrated in Wacoochee High School at 5th grade, but our teacher at the time was the principal and the teacher, and she wouldn't allow that school to be closed, so we had to ride with my uncle and my community, I say father, because Mr. Bandy and Mr. Morgan. We rode on the back of a truck till we graduated in the 6th grade to Wacoochee. The bus from Wacoochee wouldn't allow them to come to Dorsey and pick us up and drop us off, so we had to walk about a country mile to meet Wacoochee bus to ride. But when I integrated into Wacoochee, it was like from a one-room country school, one teacher, I say 4th grade education books and things. It was like a life burst wide open. Here we are in a high school in the 7th grade. And that school, although we was poor at Wacoochee, it was like a brand new world from going from one-room school where we had a wooden heater in the school to this school that has 12 classes. Well, 24 classes because it was 2 sections to each class. Although Wacoochee was a 3rd-rate school, we wasn't even accredited then. It was a family school. Everybody was friends. Everybody was family. Our teacher treated us like their children. Our principal was so disciplined. No one has had a principal that had his school so disciplined that we was in order like our parents would have us in order. And I enjoyed everybody at Wacoochee. I enjoyed school. And graduation was like leaving something I loved, but it was time and we had to go. But
hello, my name is Willie Mae Graham Thomas Brown. Everybody at Wacoochee knew me as Weed. I started Wacoochee in the 1st grade up until I graduated in 1970. And the best class, the loudest class it is at Wacoochee. My class that I really liked when I was going to Wacoochee was math. That was only because Mr. Floyd was the basketball coach and I was his scorekeeper. So I got all A's in math. Mr. Deborah was my principal from the 1st through the 12th grade. I enjoyed going to school at Wacoochee, the only school I went to, even though I didn't start when my other cousins and classmates started because my birthday came late in November. But yet and still, when I got in, I went in. I enjoyed Wacoochee, and Mr. Deborah, he was like a dad to everybody. Only one thing that I really enjoyed, that was May Day, wrapping the maypole. We wrapped the maypole till it fell. Good time at Wacoochee, and I love everyone that went along with me, before me and after.
Hi, my name is Charlene Thomas Hurd. I started Wacoochee in 1959, and that was the 1st through the 11th grade. Then we integrated into Smith Station. My likes at Wacoochee was the teachers. They was very nice. They treated us like their kids. They learned us how to respect each other. And believe it or not, if one teacher, you had a problem with in one class, the other teacher knew, and they all disciplined us. I loved it. My teachers, Mr. Deborah, he always would call me, Thomas, what's up? If we got in trouble, he knew where to go. My dad was a bus driver for Wacoochee, so, and then I stayed down the road, didn't never ride a bus. We walked to school every day. I stayed a quarter of a mile down past Wacoochee, and my last year I had to get on a bus to ride, and that was something new to me. But all I can say is Wacoochee students, we was all like families. I mean, loving families. Like he said, we knew everybody that went to Wacoochee. So I'm glad to be I'm proud to be a student at Wacoochee, and I am from Salem, Alabama.
Okay, my name is Prince Johnson Patterson. I did not start off at Wacoochee. I came from Sanford. I did not want to go to Wacoochee because I had no idea what I was about to get into, and I was leaving my friends. But when I got to Wacoochee, I ended up with a lot of friends, and I was happy about that. And everything went well. I went to Wacoochee with, in my mind, that I was going to be the smartest one in my class, because I wasn't going to let those other kids that I didn't know outsmart me. So at one point in time, my mom passed, and I had to do an assignment, and I wasn't there, and I got an F. I cried for 2 days. Then somebody explained to the teacher what happened, and they cleared up my grade, and I learned something from that, that whatever happens, you gotta talk up. They taught me that, and let somebody know what's going on. And that was just that I had great respect for grades. I always have. I watched the older kids at Wacoochee. I used to love to dance, and I would go across the floor at lunchtime and whatever, and the high schoolers would say, "Come on, hit it, boys." And I would go out there and I would just dance until almost lunchtime was up. Well, that taught me too that you can get everybody's respect, not just your classmates, but you know, like they said, it was a family, from the big girls to the little girls. And I enjoyed that. Wacoochee was very good to me, and I enjoyed it. I had one problem about Mr. Deborah one time. It was my fault. I think I was eating some candy. I don't know what I was doing. But he came around and I hid in the bushes. And he said, "Come on out of there." And all he did was talk to me. But I never gotten in trouble before, and I was scared of the principal. So ever since then, Mr. Deborah and also his wife, I was quite fond of her. They were very good, and those are my memories of Wacoochee. And when I had to go to Smith Station, I didn't want to go down there either. But I went down, I kept my mouth closed, and I managed to finish in there with pretty good grades too.
My name is Angela Deborah Alexander. My daddy was the principal at Wacoochee. So let's see, he went in September of 1956. I was born in June of 1956. When I was 5 years old, he took me to school with him. And I was at Wacoochee until 1970, simply because of integration coming about. I wanted to go on to Smith Station because that's all I knew. Even though I grew up in Auburn and I knew people in my community, I didn't want to go to Auburn High School because I didn't know them. I was comfortable with who I knew, and those were the people at Wacoochee. But because of having to be there on time for me to catch the bus to go on down to Smith Station, if we miss the bus, then he's going to have to drive me down, which means he's going to be late getting back to Wacoochee. I had to go to Auburn High School. I have fond memories of Wacoochee. I remember us having to leave home early so we could go by the bus shop to pick up drums of compound so we could get it to school in time for it to be sprinkled on the floors. Daddy and the custodian would do those floors so they were shining, because we had concrete floors, no tile at the time, it was concrete. And those floors would be shining by the time the buses started coming so the students could come in, they got a clean school. When basketball came about, I remember, I don't know if it was 63, 66, but they won the state championship. 63? 63? Okay, it was in Tuskegee. It was at Logan Hall in Tuskegee, Alabama, at Tuskegee University. Well, it was Tuskegee Institute at the time. And we had gone to the game and they won, and ooh, yay, okay, we've gone home, we're in the bed. All of a sudden we hear knocking on the door and the doorbell was ringing. Mr. Floyd and the whole team had come to the house with the trophy, and the big tall trophy for us. So we get up, my mom, there was just me at the time, me, my mom and my daddy. We get up and we just had a party, had a celebration because they had won that championship. Go to school, take the trophy there and have just a big assembly about it, because that was a big thing. Yes. And with this being a rural area that we're going to school in, some of those other schools felt they were a little better. You know, they kind of, I remember when they would play J.W. Darden from Opelika. We were the country school, but that's all right, we whipped them. So it was all right whether we were country school or not. But I just remember that team had some of the tallest guys at the time I'd ever seen. Luther Davis, David Hurd, Donnie and Ronnie Alexander. Yes. So, you know, and they were tall, and they were only, like 6'4", 5", maybe at the time, but they were giants compared to your actual 5, 10, 11, maybe 6-footer. So we had a good team, and it was just a lot of fun to be around those people. When it came time to leave Wacoochee, I did not want to go, as I said earlier. I just did not want to go, but I couldn't talk them into it because of the different things that were going to have to go on. Daddy was still at Wacoochee, and Mama was there too. My mama was in the library. About 4 years after that, I think he left and he went to Lochapoka. But even so, between the two schools, I'll take Wacoochee anytime. I would take Wacoochee any day before. Lochapoka was good, but Wacoochee was better. The camaraderie, the friendship, the whatever, you know, and I see people now, and aren't you? Yeah, I am. Aren't you? Uh-huh. And then it's like, I don't remember your name, but I remember your face, so I know you're a Wacoochee product. But it was just fun. People tended to just gravitate and love each other. It's not like it is now. But I have very, very fond memories of Wacoochee. And I'm proud of myself, y'all better know it, because I'm not crying. Because when I start talking about my daddy, I usually start crying. My daddy passed, it'll be 8 years ago in July, this July coming. So I'm doing real good, because I'm telling you, I usually, boy, I'm going everywhere, but I'm holding it in. If you watched me earlier, you saw me doing this. I was kind of dabbing at my eyes. But he did love Wacoochee. Now, whether you know it or believe it, he did love Wacoochee. He was okay at Lochapoka, but Wacoochee was it for him. So you all held a special place in his heart. And I think when he saw you, he let you know that, because he's going to remember who you are. And until he just couldn't go anymore, there was always some conversation about Wacoochee. So I want to thank you all for being, he had some hard heads. Now, we're going to tell the truth. He had some hard heads at Wacoochee. But I'm going to thank you for being the students and the student body that you were, because Daddy did love being at Wacoochee. Okay.